That
Oh,
was cute.
well, I'm glad. I don't. Do you feel that? I find some because I haven't been on in a while, and like they're gonna. I feel they're pleased to see you, but they're also make you feel quite guilty. There's a lot of like, oh, I thought you didn't like me anymore. Oh, are you not talking to me now? And like, I sometimes get anxious about that, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not really pleased. But so yes, you do have. Here's a picture of you with some of your neighbours.
It's Pashmina on the right. She's my best friend in the game. I can't remember the name of the elephant on the left. I feel really bad, but he's really into bodybuilding, and he's always talking about how he's doing running around. And then that's little Penelope in the background. She wants to be a pop star, and she loves pink. Everything is pink and very cute. So there you go.
One of the people that you essentially kicked off your island. No, because sometimes characters on your island will come to you and say, I've been thinking about moving on. Maybe it's time for me to go and live somewhere else. And you kind of get the choice of saying whether they should go or not. And again, like the emotional trauma I go through over that, I'm like, am I stopping them? Like, could they be having a better life on some other place? And I've said, no, you need to stay here and be my friend. But also I don't want to be harsh and like, yeah, fuck off and leave the island, you bastard, etc. So it's very difficult. But one of the people that had left your island then turned up on my island when I had a vacancy and said, oh, I met you on Kingfisher Island, so I've decided to come and move here. I was like, oh, okay, that's quite cool.
That is brilliant, actually, and that gives you that kind of world consistency. And I like that is one of the things that I like about the game is that when you've been away and you come back, the seeds have grown, the plants have grown. Everybody will say things to you like, "Oh, we haven't seen you for a week," or "We wondered where you were," and and all of that, and like like you're saying, they do make you feel guilty, but there is this kind of constancy to the environment that whether you're there or not, it is still there. It is still existing, and it is still living in its background, especially if you go away and it was snowing and then you come back and it's spring. There are all sorts of things like that which I really like about it, which is compounded actually by the fact that, as I said, it's a sort of family game, so lots of other people come in and play different aspects. So my daughter will go in and do some stuff, and then I'll come back and my person will be wearing completely different clothes, and she'll have reordered everything. She gets very cross about leaving stuff laying around. She says it's laying around. I personally think that I've done some kind of fancy display. And she's like, you just left us stuff laying around. I'm like, no, I didn't. And then my husband will come in and he will go around and like chop down loads of trees and make loads of like daily items and make loads of money for me and be like, oh, I've done all of that for you. And it's just nice though, because you kind of it's got this kind of life of its own that a lot of games don't have. They just feel like they just everything just stops when you're not there.
Yeah, it feels quite often like I don't this is getting weirder now, but I don't worry about the characters when I'm not there, because I know that they've got KK Slider coming in and doing a concert for them occasionally. They've got each other to talk to, Isabel will still be giving them advice and looking after them. It's like they'll be getting on fine without me, but they miss me when I'm gone, so that's kind of nice. And I love the world that it is. I do think it's wonderful. I mean, we've got you've got a celebration here, haven't you? So this is Tom Nook. This is the building of your museum, I presume.
Yeah, the first opening.
Oh, and it's like I love that it's you get an opening ceremony for everything, and that you've got an authority figure ish in Tom Nook, although again. Like, if we're getting back into problematic capitalist things, right, is essentially Tom Nook keeps giving you a bigger mortgage. It's like it's just a constant game of trying to pay off your mortgage. So he lends you the money to get a bigger house, but you're gonna have to pay him back before you can get a bigger house after that. And it keeps getting huge. And I'm trying to pay off a real life mortgage and a game mortgage at the moment. So it's just like, this is stressful. But obviously in real life you can't just go and chop down a lot of trees and make them into something and sell.
Oh, there are actual money trees. Can you hear me now?
Hey,
we've switched sides.
We'll just pretend that nothing happened there. So slight technical hitch because all technology hates me today. But before my screen went to a blue screen of death, you were about to tell us about the money trees, the magic money trees that we have in Animal Crossing.
Yeah, well, one of the main ways that you make money in the game is you go around and you dig up holes in the ground, little sort of cracks in the ground, and you can get out fossils. And then you get then you get them assessed, and then you can sell them for lots of money, or put them in the museum, which we have to talk about the museum as well.
Yes.
But before we get onto that, so one of the other things that you find on the ground is a glowy dot, and if you dig that up, you get a bag of gold, and if you put some money in the hole, you grow a money tree.
Which I would never have known if you hadn't told me.
No, I don't know how I found that.
And it was a revelation, that, and it's like, because I'm very anti-spoiler of any sort, so I'd avoided looking anything up, but there is no way I'd have figured that out ever, to bury the money in the hole.
No, so yeah, and it is a really good source of cash, and yeah, and then when they grow, you get these trees with these money bags hanging on them. so yeah, you do have literal money trees. So I think they are teaching all sorts of bad bad lessons.
The new things that you can dig up now is these gyroids. Are they called gyroids? The little roboty things.
Yeah.
What have you been doing with your little roboty guys?
Well, I have a couple of rows of them on either side, well, next to my entrance pathway from the helicopter pad and the aeroplane pad, and to welcome anyone who comes to my island. Nobody's come since I started getting them, but anyway, that's what they're there for, to welcome. But I'm running out of space now, so actually I did start putting them inside the house around my radio, because I always have music playing in my house, and they join in with the music, and they with some of the tunes. It's really nice actually what they do, and they all make different sounds, and they all have different moves, and yeah, so that's what I've been doing. I've been putting them around there.
I sort of made a field of them. I've kind of made them a pasture where I've sort of fenced them. I had a big empty space that I wasn't really doing much with, so I just sort of put a fence around them and have put them all there. But now I'm thinking I need to get some speakers out there and have them dancing around out there as well.
Because they do move. They go all in time with the music, and yeah, it's quite cool.
So Blathers, then. We want to discuss Blathers and his museum.
The museum is one of my favourite places. When I first started playing the game, I just loved it, because you have, well, initially it's made up of two sections. So you have like three sections. Sorry, you have like the sort of fossils section, and you slowly build up dinosaurs and things in there, and that's just so nice to walk through. It's just very calm, and it just feels like you're in an actual museum.
It really does. It's
a lot of time into it.
I found that's one of the things where I will always try and connect up my Switch to the big TV, because it's just gorgeous to walk around in it. And I particularly love the I was going to say I particularly love the aquarium side of it.
I like the aquarium,
and I do really like that. But I also really love the dinosaurs, the fossils and all that as well. And I think that's again because of the fact that I really enjoy that in real life as well. But it's beautiful. I'll try and find us some pictures so we can have a little bit of a illustrative things, but I don't think it captures the majesty of all the pictures that I've just seen online. It's like, no, it just looks much better in real life. You've got to go and see it. You've got to go and get there and stuff. And it does encourage you to keep up with the collecting and the sort of, because one of my biggest problems with the game is I am really bad at fishing. Really bad at fishing. I can catch things occasionally, but if I didn't have to catch things, and if I wasn't trying to improve the museum, I can't guarantee that I would continue to fish. So it's just I know there's feedback visually, haptically, and audio of when you should pull it in, but I can't get it right.
I get really stressed about it, and I'm like, I'm not going to press it at the right time. But actually, it is really obvious when you need to do it, and once you realise it, you're like, oh. But I can't. You can't do it without. I can't do it if I haven't got the sound. I have to have the sound.
Yeah.
To know when to do it.
So here's a picture of the museum from the internet. It's not as good, but you know, a little bit of that. And then later on, you get the addition of the art section.
Yeah.
Buying art from a dodgy art dealer, Fox.
Who calls you cousin?
That little.
Really random. So random.
I know, so strange. But he now has one of the permanent stalls in the new extended version on Halves Island. So how are you getting on with all the stalls on Halves Island?
I think we've got two more left to do. I think when we talked about it the other day, I said that we keep getting sidetracked by the hairdresser. Because every time we go over there to get a new stall or do something, we just go and get our hair done.
And she does really good haircuts as well. Like, I keep being really pleased with the results. Like, oh, amazing.
Yeah. My favourite one is the fortune teller. I quite like that one because it's just very silly and I like the way that it sort of changes the screen and everything. So I'm not really very clear on how it impacts on the game. But yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, I think my biggest gripe with Animal Crossing is that you can't interact more with the items. They have some amazing objects that you can make and you can buy, or you can shoot out of the air from little balloons, you know, and all sorts of random stuff like that. But they do have these amazing things, and yet you can hardly actually interact with anything. And I think that's you can sit on seats and that's about it. So you can't, you know, and it's such a shame because I would really like to be able to do that. And actually sometimes at various events you'll see the other animals on your island will have like do stuff and they can do more than you can do, and that's frustrating. So
because I mean there is more interaction than is sometimes, like when you came to visit my island and you went up to my water well and made it do so, I was like, I didn't know it could do that.
I haven't got those. I have never had those. I've been looking for them ever since. I think they're great. Yeah.
So some things you can interact with and you just don't realize, and there is very little like tutorial aspect to it or like quick tips, like normally on a game when, you know, when it's loading and like, and it's not like there's not a loading screen, right? You know, I spend a lot of time looking at a black screen with that little palm tree in the bottom corner. And I just feel like a few little quick tips there wouldn't do any harm. You know, sort of, did you know if blah blah blah.
I think they've added them in actually since the last update.
Yeah, I'm so out of date.
Obviously, well, I don't know because you can set them off, but they were on for me. So yeah, but I think that's because that was really valid feedback. And I mean, it's like you were saying about the sea when I first started playing, they didn't have anything. You couldn't do anything with the sea. That was an update that came in the middle of the summer in 2020. So
well, that's always promising though, is when they look like they're still developing, and the fact that they're going to continue developing. Obviously they introduced the DLC last year, which I did buy, and I then said to you, I don't think it's worth buying until you want something more to play. So I presume you still not
I haven't got it yet.
And it is, I mean, it's what's nice about it is it's basically you get to design homes for other people who give you a brief. You know, they say, I want somewhere to go and read, I want somewhere to go and be sporty and stuff, and it gives you access to a whole load of stuff and think about how you're designing. But it also it gives you more of this. It's like, would you like to go to work now? Because it's literally giving you a job, and it's like, oh my god, I've now got a job and a mortgage, and I've got to do my volunteering on the island to keep it up to date, and I've got to keep up with my social life. It's like, god, it's just life simulators.
It's like The Sims.
It is. Well, I mean, you know, I've said this before, like a lot of the games that I play, my partner refers to as job simulators, because he's like, you know, he's like, you might as well just have a job doing that. Why are you spending your time? Why do you think that's a game? And there is something really satisfying though to an ordered, controlled world where, unlike this real world, you can achieve your goals, you can you can make money, you can actually do things without everything failing on you. It's it's kind of, it is, I think that's one of the things that does appeal about these little sort of world simulators is that, yes, it's simulating real life, but in a really lovely, controlled, cute, fun fashion.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely true, and I think I think it is a bit of an antidote to the hecticness of reality, you know, because you can only do a certain amount during each day, and yes, you know, you do get this mortgage, but you don't have to pay it back within any kind of restrictive time. You just can't do the next thing until you have paid it back. And it's the same with you know, when you buy other stuff in the island, like bridges and what have you. You know, you have to wait until you've paid for them before you get them. So, you know, there's but not having them there isn't a massive inconvenience. You just potter around, and so you choose to do it at your rate, and it does force you to sort of slow down and calm down. So I think
again, I didn't realize that you could poll vote over things for ages, so I thought I could only access 1/3 of my island when I first started, but anyway. Some people like me are stupid and need more help, right?
I don't know what to say about that, Caroline.
Okay, so factoring in the time that we cut out, I think we probably have got nearly there. So I'm going to ask you one last question, and I'll have to answer it as well.
Okay.
Which is, what is your favorite thing about Animal Crossing? Animal Crossing New Horizons on the Nintendo Switch, that is. I just thought I'd clarify and buy you some time to think.
I think my favorite thing is the events that they have, the seasonal events, and particularly the New Year's Eve party, which I have now attended 2 years in a row, which I think is like maybe a bit embarrassing because I've actually been like, oh, I've got to go on Animal Crossing. And I was there, and it was so funny this year because oh God, so
is this embarrassing? Is this why you don't want to tell us?
My daughter didn't want to stay up, so she'd gone to bed. So it was just me and my husband at New Year, as the New Year gongs went, and so we were on Animal Crossing. We were like, hooray, we did all that, and then we were basically just dancing around in our lounge, just like all the animals on Animal Crossing, because they were all dancing, and it was so funny. I was like, oh my gosh, we really have reached, I don't know, new highs or lows.
I think it's incredibly sweet. I think proper hashtag relationship goals there. I think it's lovely.
Oh, thank you. You're very kind.
I know. I don't know. I was thinking, like, because I was thinking more as well, like, who's my favorite person in Animal Crossing, and what I think is very interesting. When initially, if you haven't played the game, Tom Nook takes you through every stage. And then suddenly one day, Tom Nook's not doing the daily announcements anymore. Isabel turns up. And I really freaked out at that point. I was like, who's this Isabel character?
Yeah.
I now love Isabel. Isabel is now my favorite thing, and especially when I haven't been on for a while, because when you log in, Isabel's the first person you see, and she's like, guess this is what's going on. And even when there's nothing going on, she's like, I'm still going to say something fun to you about TV or my cardigan. And I really love Isabel now, and I've come round to Isabel, and so like I think she's now my favorite bit of Animal Crossing. It's just her welcoming face that makes me feel really excited. And like, while I didn't have the internet last month, I was playing vast quantities of Mario Kart, because what else are you going to do? It was very good. And of course, the latest Mario Kart on the Switch has got an Animal Crossing one. And every time I'd see Isabel go past, I was like, oh, it's Isabel! Yeah! Genuinely, I love Isabel. Isabel's my favorite person now. So yes, that's what I love about Animal Crossing. So, is there anything that I've forgotten to say about Animal Crossing, or that you haven't had a chance to say about Animal Crossing?
No, I think we have definitely done a deep dive into Animal Crossing today.
Sweet.
So we have covered it all.
And what else? Oh, and so, like, just so that we can do this properly, this has been Gaming the System, the Feminist podcast, etc. Please make sure you like, subscribe, all that stuff, wherever you get your podcast.
Comment.
Do things, just do things so more people watch, please. Thank you very much. Obviously wherever you get your podcasts, but if you do get your podcasts on Spotify, then may I suggest you stop giving them money and give your money to Tidal instead, because Tidal don't really do podcasts, but Spotify support Joe Rogan and I don't. So I just thought I'd chuck that in there as well for a final political message. I have not consulted the rest of the gaming the system team on that, so that's just my opinion.
I endorse Caroline's comments.
Yay! Cool. All right, thank you very much. We've been Caroline and Jen. We'll speak to you soon.